welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm John Adams with Salix Data, and we're partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Kathy Marsh, the Operations, Projects, and Shared Services Officer at Ohio National Financial Services. Good morning, Kathy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you.
Great. Well, I just find your career fascinating when you think about all the different ways that you have led in the space of digital transformation. And now people talk about digital transformation in the context of AI and business analytics, but really digital transformation 20 plus years ago, paper to image. And so I love your career as it's moved from that basic form to the real complex components of digital transformation. But I'd love if you just share a little bit of those highlights about how from the early days of your career there at Ohio National all the way through until now, some of the different ways that you've leveraged digital transformation throughout your career.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, our digital transformation started many years ago. I started with Ohio National in 1997. And so around 1998 is when we started to embark in launching a workflow imaging system within our company. The idea was to go to paperless processing, not just paperless as far as files. We actually were going to receive our work through our imaging system, which was huge undertaking. With that came the development of our document management center. What we decided to do is do a centralized center instead of decentralized. And that was my responsibility to build from the ground up and manage. At the time, I had responsibilities for our records services and our mail center. So it just aligned at that time to start this where the imaging would begin when the mail came in the door. So this allowed us to leverage data transformation in many ways over the years. The received lab results, medical records, our forms, forever changed. We were able to receive them now through a RIP or an API process, and the data come over with it. We were able to use that data, bypassing even sometimes the document management center and going directly into the departments, which sped up the efficiency of receiving those documents. We also were able to apply money through our imaging system through an application we created that integrated with our admin systems. So the processor through data on a CSD screen in our imaging system could apply payments going into our admin system. And in our payments world, they only received rejected payments. And that, again, came into our imaging system with even the reason why the payment was rejected. So the processor had all the information to be able to either figure out how they needed to apply it, whether it was another payment or ask for additional money, or if the payment needed to be returned because the policy had lapsed. So we had built all this, and that was probably in the early 2000s when we started this auto pay system. And we were able to take that system that we developed and use it across all our lines of payment channels when money were coming in the door through our different vendors, our payment channels, lockboxes. It would go through this auto pay processing, and then also any rejects would create work in our imaging system for the processors to be able to fix. So that was huge, and we continue to build on that now. We continue to leverage data based on states. NSF fees. We had a certain NSF fee we were charging individuals, but then Florida came by and said, hey, we can only charge $15, so we had to change all that and move data around and to be able to go look at data in different admin systems that we never had to do before. So that was huge success there. So basically everything that we're doing is intertwining with our imaging foundation. So much that we were also able to partner with Salix for some outsourcing opportunities in our document management center. And having that imaging system, the foundation there was just huge on being able to do that as well. They've been able to help us in our document center, and now we've embarked into even our payment world. So we're excited to have that partnership with Salix and be able to do that with this foundation. We also launched a new life product end-to-end platform. All of our systems is either a new business system, we have a claims system, or we have these different admin systems based on the product. We decided we wanted one system that would be able to handle issuing to claim processing. So that was something we launched in 2017, and we continue to build, we even build product in it. It's just, it's a great system. You know, talking about our ALEP platform, that also coincides with our e-app application process that we developed, and we also have e-delivery. So these new platforms leverages data in ways our legacy systems could not. And then also, I'm really excited about our newer innovation is we started moving forward with RPA. We launched RPA with assistance of Salix about almost a year ago. And so that has, again, taken us to another level, and we are using that within all our other platforms, our e-app platforms, all our reporting, our imaging systems, and we're just creating some really good stuff on helping all the teams be able to capture data and move or process it based on the need of the business area. So we're really excited to continue to leverage RPA for our even more digital transformation in the future.
Talk to us a little bit about your most recent role and promotion. It really seems like it's taken your experience in helping the organization innovate and kind of putting that front and center as a core priority. Could you speak a little bit to your current role?
Sure. As I mentioned, I've been with Ohio National 23 years, and I was in many different roles with new business, payments, document management, mail. I've been touched a little bit of everything. So in my current role, I support and represent life ops for major projects. So I work closely with our IT partners to accomplish our goals. As mentioned, our newest innovation is RPA. We launched that about a year ago, and Salix was able to help us with the vendor selection, the software launch, the governance, the training, the certification, and the development. We've seen so much success with RPA, and our team has exceeded our expectations in development. And we truly believe that our partnership with Salix helped guide us where we are today. I feel our next future interest would be going into the machine learning and AI. I think that's the next positive impact on Ohio National in the future.
And how do you keep yourself informed about the technologies that are coming, and how do you discern how to implement that within your organization, if it's worth pursuing or not pursuing?
Well, I try to attend several conferences a year with our industry through LOMA, LIMRA, and I also attend our technology partners conferences just to make sure that what the plan is going forward with the technology that we already have. How can we leverage it? How can we get what's new coming down the pipe? I also will keep up to date on trends with Gartner, and of course always following LinkedIn to build relationships and see what others are embarking on. So when I feel there's something that we can achieve or something that will benefit the areas, I will go to senior leadership and present the opportunity and see if we are able to, one, with the CBA, be able to make sure it's worth the value of bringing it in.
And then with all of the innovations that you've been involved with over the years, what would be the one that was really the biggest game changer? And it could have even been in the early days, just based on some of the things that you've seen. But but what's that one innovation that has had the biggest impact on your organization?
Well, I feel like for our customers, finding a solution to make payments via IVR, web, or provide recurring payments via our e-bill platform. When I took payment services over in 2007, the only way to make a payment was to mail a check to our lockbox or overnight a check to our home office. We had no other way. I can't tell you how heartbreaking it was to receive calls from family that their loved ones were terminally ill, and today's the last day to make a payment. I had no way to accept it. Or it was in our late payment offer, which we have a grace period that we allow. It's in that grace period, and they just don't have any way to make that payment to keep their policy in force. So with that, I was determined to find a way to help our customers, because that's the most important. That's what our business is. And not being able to accept payments same day over the phone just wasn't acceptable for our customers. So that to me was probably, as many things of moving data and automating things, that was probably to me was the most important for our customers.
I love that we get into talking about digital transformation. We can focus on the latest and greatest ways to be able to improve and drive efficiency and improve processes. But I love you and your organization's focus on the end result, the customer, and how that you can make sure that you're making their lives easier, even over making things easier for your employees. So that's a great answer. Were you going to say something, Kathy?
No, I was just, talkative today. So I was just going to go on to talk about our agents. Those are also our customers. And so one of the things when I started a new business was we didn't have an e-application. So to me, that was important. And for our agents to be able to sell business and provide an service to our customers. And with that, we also have gone into e-delivery. So with COVID, I can't tell you how much change we saw, a significant jump in this year's adoption rates. We were probably around 60%, which is huge for electronic, but we were up in the 80s, 90% when we were in quarantine. So agents were able to continue to sell, and we could deliver electronically the policies to agents while we were all in quarantine. So it was very successful.
That's great. And then when you think about the toughest challenges you experience while you're driving digital transformation, what have some of those challenges been?
I would say people. Even though we have a great culture at Ohio National, just people and being open to change. And I think most importantly, moving at a pace that everyone can manage is another challenge. I love change. I love innovation. But I've learned the hard way that not everyone moves at my pace. So, at so many different paces, and trying to manage that has probably been the biggest challenge. And then additionally, as we all, just lack of IT resources has also been tough. So in my role, it has been critical for me to be able to find self-service improvement opportunities for operations.
And so if you were to look into your crystal ball and say, 5 years from now, what are the biggest changes in how Ohio National operates, or how your team operates, or how you're delivering value for your customers? What would some of those things look like?
I think the most important, and I think this is ongoing, I don't think it's just going to continue to be more challenging, is security of the data. So I think that will forever be changing, and companies just have to be constantly fluid with shifting strategies to manage new threats. That's just something I think we're all going to face, and in every year it's something different. New threats are coming upon us. So staying aware and on top of that is going to be huge. For us as a company, I think machine learning and AI, as I mentioned, I would like to trend with that. Many needs to, to deal with some of the limitations that we have. We've started to embark in the master data management. We need to do a lot more work there. We need to find solutions to meet the governance and security across the multiple systems and networks. So we've got a great start on that, but we still need a lot of work there. And then I would say just continuing to move with data as a service. We have been really successful with that, but we still have a lot of work to do on that. So that's where I see our biggest top four would be that we'll continue to work towards.
And then we've all just had a dramatic change in life, in business through this pandemic with COVID-19. What impact has that had on your organization, and what value has the work that you've done around digital transformation during this time?
Well, I'm proud to say that our company responded fairly well with the quick transition to working remotely due to the quarantine mandate. Several things played a factor in that. I think one being several years ago, we began a work from home strategy and started transitioning folks to work from home 1 to 2 times a week. And we have some associates that are full-time, but we really wanted to get into that working remotely space. So that really set us up for when we had to go remotely. I don't think IT was ready for everyone, but they were shortly, everyone was up and running fairly well. We also are pretty well managed in our disaster recovery exercises that we participate on an annual basis. So we are set up in multiple locations to be able to process our work. Some being home, some being at different locations around the city, and some outside the city. So we had just participated in that testing, so that went fairly well. And just having the form of our imaging system and the automations, having us all in place, it was pretty transparent for our customers. Even with RPA, we just launched it a few months before the quarantine started, and we were able to continue to develop, certify, train. SAIX played a great big part in that because we were able to remote in and screen share and still continue to make traction and still develop and put in production some RPA processes. We have been in our RPA world more working from home longer than we were from the home office. So that tells you the success we've had along the way with that, and a great thanks to SAIX and their partnership and making that happen for us. So we are, you mentioned how successful we are. So we still are working from home. We look to transition sometime after the new year. And at this point, it's only those that want to transition back to the home office, and that would just be for a few days. But we are very comfortable working from home, and I think the foundation that we have set with digital transformation has allowed us to be successful.
Mm-hmm. And so if somebody's starting their career in the data space, what's something that you would encourage them to think about or to be their priority as you think about the success you've had in your career? What encouragement, that might be helpful for somebody that's just starting out?
Oh, yeah. So I would just say do your research, get everyone involved. What has been important for us, and especially with RPA, is of course, having IT involved. We know our processes, we know our systems, but they know the framework and guidelines within the system. So partnering with them, not just jumping into the next best thing, but really thinking about what you're doing and making sure that what you do is going to have long-term success and not just a quick fix.
That's great. So I want to thank you, Kathy, for joining me today. Please visit cdomagazine.tech for any additional interviews.